having a bonus fireside chat tonight, which is going to be great, extra great, because the one and only #1 fangirl for Clutch is here to do the interview with Neil Fallon, who is also here. And they still can't hear you, Chris, or see you pointing expressively at yourself. So before I let Chris go on in the fangirling monument that is his love for Clutch and love for Neil Fallon, I'm going to be playing a very wonderful video from earlier in 2020 at the one and only, or from the one and only ILFest, which if you didn't see last year, you definitely should go check it out on YouTube and get ready to see it this year, later this summer. So without further ado, let's see this video.
Yes, sir.
Are we really going this route?
God, I hope it involves pizza. I met this dude, he called himself the human hacker. Yesterday was International Pizza Day. I said, hey, man, is that like Leatherface or something? He said, nah, man,
Now they can.
I don't cut up people. Mostly I just shank them. Yes, sir. I said, let me stop you right there. I got a question on my mind, and I'd really appreciate an honest answer. He said, okay. I said, all right. What I really want to know is, would you enjoy a delicious slice of Hawaiian pizza? Yes, sir, indeed. He started sweating, tugging at his shirt, body language, macro expressions. Yes, he was sweating about a slice of Hawaiian pizza. Macro indigestion. Yes, sir. I said, hey, man, Hawaiian pizza's for the people. You ought to try it. He said, no. I said, quit acting like a baby. He said, no. I said, quit acting like a baby. Here comes the airplane, open wide, wheels down, Honolulu Airport, Magnum P.I. Yes, sir. Oh, goodness. Hawaiian pizza's for the people. You gotta try it. Did you know that the skin of a pineapple is an example of the Fibonacci sequence? And a pie is a mathematical enigma. Or perhaps you do not consider yourself to be a friend of science. Yes, sir. And come to think of it, Fibonacci, that sounds rather Italian. Yes, sir. You should just take the time and open your mind and eat it. Take one for the team. Be a friend of science. Pineapple people. Power to the people. Oh, yeah. Take one for the team. Be a friend of science. Fibonacci sequence. Bound of the people. Oh, yeah. Macro expressions. Magnum P.I. Be a friend of science. Eat Hawaiian pizza. There you go, man.
I can't breathe. That's the best thing I've ever heard. Oh God.
And it's the best thing I've ever heard too, because it was a glorious, glorious moment. So now you should be able to see everybody, but I still haven't unmuted them just to torture Chris. But I will do
I'm
that now.
unmuted, so it doesn't really matter.
But you're not unmuted on Twitch. But now you
Doesn't
are, so
matter.
there you
I'm
go.
still talking to
If
Neil,
you are
so that's all that
listening,
matters.
anybody who's on the call, I'm just going to talk over Chris. Anyone who's on the call and is watching the stream, please mute the stream or we will hear it through your microphones. And no one wants that. Am I doing introductions or are we going to pass that on to somebody else today?
Pass it right on off to Chris, and let's get this thing rolling.
Let the
That was
fangirling
awesome.
begin.
I mean, that is one of your greatest songs. You know, I gotta say.
Personally, it is the greatest song. Just saying.
I didn't see what happened. What was it?
Oh, you didn't see the video? They played the pineapple pizza video from
Okay.
ILFest.
Yeah.
It's like, we're just all sitting here muted, making faces at each other.
Oh, really? You could see it on Twitch. Oh, yeah. Neil might not be on Twitch. You know.
I didn't put that into the equation.
That's all
I
right.
didn't either until the very last second. So, you know, it's okay.
It's okay. We're just
Anyhow-
all there telling everyone to eat pineapple pizza per you. So thank
But
you
they're
for
not
that.
going to do it because they're great people. So everybody, welcome to what are we calling this? What's the name of this? Is this the Fireside Chat or is this a different thing?
This is the bonus fireside chat with Neil Fallon.
I like that title.
Or
okay.
AKA the fangirl session of the year with Chris and
Fangirl
Andy.
session of the year. I am the largest fangirl of Clutch on the planet. So that is the truth. So we are here with Neil, the GOAT Fallon, in case you don't know. This is the man behind Clutch, the voice, the music, the songs. We got a crew here from ILF. I don't know what position they're actually. I do know what position they're in. Top middle is Sai. She's running our show tonight, helping us out with everything on Twitch. Next to her is Erin, the one and only. She is our in-house therapist, helping all of our people stay sane and, you know, working. Then, who's that? The next one, what's her name? Oh man, this is hard.
Oh man, like Mandy?
Mandy, that's who it is. I confuse her with AJ Cook all the time.
Yeah, I get that. That's why there are
Yeah.
names at the bottom
Yeah.
left corner, so you can.
Yeah, that's
See that?
Mandy. She is new to ILF. She is helping us with education, outreach. I don't know, like everything we throw at her. It's like, hey, here's a can of stuff that no one wants to do, and Mandy does it. And everyone here knows Sam, the pink-haired girl. She runs our pit.
Purple.
And Shane, the COO, who runs
He's
everything,
trying.
basically. So, we're here tonight. Neil, let's chat, man.
Pause.
Do it.
Hang on. I'm interrupting you, and I will do this a few times during the night because we already have our first donation in from Garrett Granger, or at least that's the name they're giving us. Thank you very much for the $25.75 donation.
Thank you, Garrett.
And per the normal stream stuff, if anybody would like to stream, well, you can do that too. But if anybody would like to donate to the stream, you can see our donation bar at the bottom. It will increment throughout the night per donations that come in. In order to contribute to that bar, all you have to do is do exclamation point, donate, and only that, in the chat, and the ILF bot, who is on his best behavior tonight, will respond to you with a link. Now, I'm going to let the fangirling begin.
Thank you. I mean, you've interrupted it so much. It's not even funny.
I'll do it again, don't worry.
So, Neil, how's COVID been treating you?
Oh, well, where to begin? Well, you know, it's like a lot of the rest of the world. I don't really feel compelled about complaining too much because it's like, yeah, well, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
I like to think of myself as a glass half full guy, despite, you know, uglinesses and challenges that's easy to get too wrapped up in. And I do my best to focus on, you know, the things that I have and we have and the situations that it could be worse. It's definitely made me appreciate. I always thought I had a good appreciation for, you know, what I did for a living, but this has really given it a next level appreciation. which is, you know, a healthy exercise for a while, but let's, I'm ready to put that lesson behind me.
Yeah, you've learned it. Now let's move on.
Yeah. I've graduated from that class.
Yeah, PhD.
Mhm.
Okay, I want to unpack a few things there because you did something really cool when you said about how you like to keep on the positive side. Recently, you did a video on YouTube with some kid, 9-year-old kid. I think he's 9 or 11, who's like a Clutch super fan, and him and his dad go and play covers of your songs. And you decided out of the blue, I'm going to get with this kid and I'm going to make up lyrics for one of his songs. How did that even happen?
It happened. It's the, it's the thing that stopped me from deleting my Twitter account. Because every once in a while, I'm like, "Dude, look, Twitter, it's just, oh God, it just stop complaining. Oh, you people, just stop already." And I remember even telling you prior to that, I was like, you know what? I don't know if we'll be able to pro anything because on January 1st, I'm off social media.
Yep, I remember.
Forget it. It's bumming me out. But then shortly after that conversation that you and I had, someone tagged me on, it's like, check this father son out. And I was like, instantly, like, you know, flattered, and it was very heartwarming. Like they took the time to, well, first of all, when someone takes the time to cover your music, that's the height of flattery because they're trying to learn it, and it can be hard. When it's also a father son bonding experience, then it becomes priceless. And I reached out to them. Well, not to overstate the obvious, I've been pretty bored, uh, despite my best efforts. And I thought maybe I would sing a Clutch song with them. But Tyler's dad, Adam, came back and was like, well, he writes original material. And I wasn't too stoked when I heard that because if you open up that can of worms, I didn't want to tell this 9-year-old kid, "Ooh, your original material, take a hard pass."
Yeah.
But he he's really good, and I wrote some lyrics, which I hadn't done in some time, and I prepped them. This is the other thing that saved social media for me. I told Dad, I said, "Look, you're going to post this online, and then I'm going to retweet it on Clutch Official, and you might get some trolls, you know, chomping at you. Despite that, you've got a 9-year-old kid involved. People
That
can
happened.
garbage." And he was like, "I don't care. I'm proud of this." And I was like, "All right, more power to you. Put it out there to the public." And I couldn't. The response was so overwhelmingly positive. It made me think, okay, maybe I'm just looking at the wrong things on social media. And I'm sorry to keep bringing that up, but that's really what powered it. I've never met them. I did a Zoom meeting with them once, and that was about it. And now he's gone on to do it with 2 other artists.
Really?
Yep.
Look what you started. You probably made this kid's dreams come true. A 9-year-old gets to
I would hope so.
have a song sung by Neil.
Yeah, I trying to remind myself of that. It's like I don't really wake up in the morning thinking, you know, I'm someone's musical hero. I don't.
Right.
But maybe I am to a couple kids, and I'm trying to think, well, okay, what if, you know, when I was 9, I'm trying to think who I like when I was 9. I don't know.
Def
Styx.
Leppard.
You know, the singer from Styx called me.
Yeah, there we are.
How would I handle that? So it's cool. It's just something nice to do. It's been an ugly year, and it actually it's a lot easier than I realized to just do nice things. It's actually it's a breeze.
I think that's what you know. You're gonna hate this statement. That's a terrible preload. I think that's what makes you awesome, Neil. Is that you don't wake up every morning and go, "I'm Neil freaking Fallon." Like I'm awesome. Like you actually, I guarantee you, just looking at that kid's face during that video, and I was with you. I was shocked about the comments. There wasn't one stinking troll on that page, and that had, at least last time I saw it, tens of thousands of views.
Yeah, and the only negativity was, um, you know, like a couple of thumbs down on YouTube, and then I started getting worked up about that. And I was actually talking earlier today to someone's like, when you're in an audience, like performing for an audience, and there's like, let's say there's 1,000 people there, but one of them is giving you the finger or telling you you're awful or get off the stage. Suddenly, those 999 people disappear, and there's just that one jerk. and it's
Yeah.
the psychological because it's a base instinct. He's going to bare his teeth at me. I'm going to stick my chest out.
Yeah.
You get monkey mind. It took me a long time to like flip that and like be able to ignore that person and realize, people put thumbs down because they're miserable.
Yeah.
They want to share their misery. People put thumbs down on Jimi Hendrix videos.
Right.
Watch for free.
Right.
You
Then
gonna
he's dead.
put thumbs down there?
Right.
Come on,
Really.
man.
Yeah.
Enough.
If you don't like it, just leave the page.
Yeah.
Right? Just leave the page. You don't have to
look at
watch it.
Go for a walk.
Right.
It's a cool thing to do.
I just thought that was a really cool story. That if people haven't seen that video, anyone is watching, go to YouTube and wait, the name of the song was
The song is The Joy of Homeschooling.
Joy of Homeschooling, right?
And the father son are going by Delco Detention, and Delco's the county in Pennsylvania that they live in.
That's great. So I love that because if you just go to YouTube and type in the name of the song and Neil Fallon, you'll find it. You'll see this kid actually does shred. It's pretty awesome. At first I was like, he's really 9? That's almost saddening for me because at 9 I don't think I was flipping baseball cards and playing with Jedi dolls. Whatever. I wasn't shredding a guitar like that kid.
Doing a lot.
Nothing constructive, huh?
Pew pew.
Right, exactly. That was me. I still have them. It's okay. It's okay, Groku. It's okay.
Yeah, you know what?
Oh, wait, sorry. He's gonna start talking now. I'll put him back.
That didn't take long.
Yep. Nope, that didn't take long at all. Okay, there we are. Anyhow, moving on. What? Shh. Okay. So he's talking now. I don't know if you can hear that in the background.
Oh, yeah.
I'll try to
We
stop him.
can, yes.
Okay. He'll stop eventually. He gets worked up sometimes. Okay. Anyhow. So Neil. I got nothing. Okay. So 2021, man. I thought for sure it's gonna start and we're gonna probably start seeing live shows, something, but is it looking bleak still, or is it looking like 2021 may pick up? What do you think is going to happen?
Despite just told you I'm the glass half full guy. Let's be honest. I am very skeptical you're going to see any real live shows this year. For 2 reasons. One, the tell is, and I was saying this earlier, if you're talking about festivals, that kind of thing, if the festivals aren't getting insured, there's no festivals, and festivals are not getting insured. That's the tell, where money talks, right? And even despite people's best intentions. And the other thing, if you're just talking about like bands going out on club tours or theater tours, then since there's no centralized policy for planet Earth, it becomes logistically very difficult for any band to do anything meaningful. The bigger sure, let's say you're a band and you want to play in your bar down the street. There will be plenty of that. There already is. But when you have a touring band, let's say they got a crew and there's flights involved and hotels or whatever, it always requires like you need 2 weeks worth of shows to just break even. And then after that, maybe you start making money. That's the idea. And I don't really foresee any bands doing tours that length. I'm certainly don't think US bands are going to Europe or vice versa. Maybe at the end of the year, there might be something, but I would hazard to guess that there's going to be a lot, more virtual performances, which is, great that we have the opportunity to do that and one to keep busy and, grease the skids as it were. But right now I think we're most focused on writing our next record, which we started about 3-4 weeks ago, with the idea that, okay, this year we're not going to be touring too much. Let's write the record so that when 2022 happens, it comes out in the first quarter, and then there's summer festivals, and then we can support it properly. I know lots of bands that had records come out at the beginning or middle of 2021,
Oof,
or,
yeah.
you know, and it's just, excuse me, 2020. And what a bummer to just have the
Yeah.
rug pulled out right from under you. Put all that time and energy into it, and but that's just fate, I guess. There's no one you can get mad at.
Yeah. It's unforeseen too. Like it's unforeseen. You couldn't have planned it. Okay, so before we tackle that, that's huge news. Doom Saloon 4. Can we hear
Yeah,
anything about it? When it's going to happen?
not right now, because even though those things are only, you know, an hour and 10 minutes long, it takes a lot of kind of mental focus to get ready for it. Because first we got to ask us, was it going to be? We want it to be different than the last one. Uh, we've got to see if the crew is going to be able to come, because we've got, as you know, Allie and Dave working on it, and they come
Yeah.
to Pennsylvania. We've got our sound man, Ted, Adam on lights. And if we were to do that, then it means, okay, suddenly we're not thinking about the next record for the next 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We're thinking about that. And I find, and I think if this is the same with everyone in the band and probably most bands or artists of any type, the creative process is sort of like you have to be in a mode, almost like you're training for a sport event. It's the only thing you're thinking about, because if you stop and then let's do this over here, it's hard to get back into the momentum.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'm sure we will do a Doom Saloon 4, but I couldn't even begin to tell you when.
So can you tell us anything about the new album?
Well, it involves guitars.
Okay, that's good. I'm happy to hear that. How about drums?
There's drums. There's some, yeah, some words and noise sounds and tone.
Yes, all the things I love about Clutch.
We're actually right at the very beginning, so that's the frustrating and fun part about writing a record is discovering what it is. Often you will have an idea of what it is, and then that changes, and that's sort of. I've used this analogy before. It's like sometimes a sculptor will talk about the sculpture's already in the block.
Yeah.
You just gotta chisel away all the extra bits. That's what, and especially when you do it with 3 other people, because then it's a collective thing, and that always surprises you.
That's cool.
It's fun.
I've never written music, so I don't have that experience. So that's an interesting thought process of that occurring.
It is equal parts, you know, joyful and maddening.
Hey guys, take a look at our donation bar.
Woo! Is it really
Dang.
$1,175?
Yes.
Sweet. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys and gals.
Looks
That's
like
amazing.
Jeremy for a $1,030 donation. Dang.
Wow, Jeremy, thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
Sorry,
I had to shout that out.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's we stopped at like $25, and I looked away to ask some questions, and now you say look back, and it's $1,175. That's ridiculous. That's awesome, guys.
We got 47 people on, and we got people starting to ask questions and stuff over here too. So we'll try to do both. Watch this and keep the conversation rolling too.
So somebody else commented that they really loved your collaboration with Adam and Tyler.
Yeah.
And of course your attitude towards it, and they'd love to see you do a whole album with that family.
I'm sure they would too.
Yeah. I think yeah, that sounds like a dream come true for them. After hearing what you said, just planning a show, how much that takes. I can't imagine what it takes to build an album with 4 people.
Well, you know, the 2 things come to mind. It's a lot of it's letting go. Like, let's say you have an idea for an album, and then, I mean, a song, and you think you know it, but then someone says, well, I think we should do this. And at first you're like, no, man, but if you kind of stop and take a listen, then all of a sudden you hear something new for the first time. And it's like, it becomes something collective. And that to me is fun. I couldn't imagine being in a band where there was one person saying, this is the way the song's going to be, and this is what you're going to wear on stage. And that's it. Cause that to me that's a slow creative death. If, you know, not DOA.
Yeah,
Um,
that's not Clutch. That's not what we all love.
well,
So I don't know if you can answer this, if this is like secret sauce, but what comes first? Is it lyrics or is it music? Is it drums? Is it guitar?
typically it's music. Someone has a riff. Uh, I am the slowest of the bunch. I am really slow. And a lot of that has to do with the fact is they write so much music, there's no way I could possibly keep up with it idea wise. And at the beginning, it can be very intimidating, thinking I can't come up with any ideas, but I got this little bit idea of here. But then you get a list of riffs that keeps growing and growing.
Yeah.
And it becomes like a jigsaw puzzle, like, oh, wait, that works better over here. And we can take this part from that over. So let's see if those go together. And then all of a sudden, the sum is greater than the parts of those ideas. Sometimes I write down ideas on a piece of paper um, without music, like the song Book of Bad Decisions. Those lyrics existed for years,
Really?
or the album. And they were just looking for a home. My favorite songs are always when the imagery of the lyrics matches the imagery of the music. Sometimes they don't match. Like the two that songs that come to mind that just make my head spin are "Time" by Pink Floyd, and I was listening to this song the other day, "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald" by Gordon Lightfoot.
I don't know that one, but I know Time.
What?
I don't know that one.
Oh,
I'm
dude.
sorry. I'm gonna write it down though. Say it again.
It's 7 verses, no chorus.
Oh,
7
wow.
verses, no chorus. It doesn't sound like it, and it's a traditional ballad. And Gordon Lightfoot. If someone described the man's voice, sounds like denim.
You know what's funny is I just typed into Google the wreck of, and it actually finished it for me. I don't know how.
Well,
Yeah.
what you want.
Yeah, it knows all things. Okay, so I do want to mention one other thing because this is really cool. It's something that all 4 of you guys in Clutch did for ILF. So for those of you that are new or don't know this, Neil was our second board member on ILF about almost going on. Can you believe it's 4 years? Neil,
Wow.
that we started this? Four
Yeah.
years in like a couple months. It's 4 years old. And I think it was like 4.5 years ago when I had this concept and I asked Neil coming on the board, and then he did. We had no clue where we were going to be in 6 months and 1 year, let alone 4 years to be where we are today. And a lot of that's been because of you folks who are supporting us and donating towards us. But Neil's always been like our biggest fundraiser in the organization. He always comes up with these crazy ideas. And just the other day, if you haven't seen it, if you go to Spotify and you go to the Clutch page, all 4 members of the van voted to put a fundraising button there on their main page in Spotify that benefits the ILF. So if you're listening to them on Spotify and you want to donate a couple dollars, you can just click that button. They made it really easy to do so. And what I love about the Spotify platform and working with your manager, we found this out. Spotify takes nothing. They don't take a cut. They don't take a percentage. They don't take a processing fee. They don't take anything. And neither does the band. Anything you donate goes directly to the nonprofit. So that is unique in our experience. That normally when you have another fundraising platform, they take something. They take a percentage for processing, for handling, for the marketing. They take something. But Spotify and Clutch are taking 0 of that. So when you donate through that medium, 100% of it goes to ILF. So just really thank you to you and to all the members of Clutch for that, because that is awesome, man.
Of course, that was our label manager's Stefan Koster. He said, "Do you know there's a Spotify, button that you can activate for whatever, whatever you want to do?" I said, "No, I don't." And he suggested, "Well, why don't we put it on for ILF?" And that day I went to practice and brought it up, and everyone's like, "Of course." And then it was up about 6 hours later.
It was, yeah.
Remarkably easy. It was so easy, it kind of made me nervous.
Yeah, actually, I was working with Stefan on that, and we both said the same thing. We were like, it can't be that, because he said it can't be that easy because I'm not technical and I did it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you want me to look at it? He's like, yeah, sure. And I'm thinking he's going to let me log in and look at it, but he sends me screenshots. And I'm like, that's not what I meant, but sure, I'll look at that. And there it is, and it's there. And I'm like, yeah, man, you did it, 100%. You did it. Like, it's there, which is awesome. Really, really awesome. So I can't thank you guys enough for that.
Of course.
Hey, can
Okay.
I jump in with a couple things
Please.
here real fast?
Please.
So I want to be sure everyone checks out. We've got a couple items that are in the store tonight, like just for tonight. And so there you go. The link just showed up in our chat over there. So if you'll take a look, I'm actually going to go grab some socks. Dave and Allie did this awesome piece of art around the pineapple pizza whole thing last time. I am not kidding. They're amazing. Hold on. Let's see what we got.
No, that's definitely, I have to have all of that stuff. You guys make me spend money on my own foundation. I hate you all, but this is great. Be a friend of science sticker.
Yep. Yep, exactly. Exactly.
It's a pineapple laying on a pizza.
Got the original one. It's got the golden ratio behind it.
It does. It does.
Exactly. I'll give you the link here in the chat.
And we even got socks made out of it.
Chat is disabled.
I will record that song and put it on a 7-inch.
Oh, I was gonna ask. I didn't want to put you on. I didn't want to put you on the spot.
Okay, let's back that up. Neil, say that again. What are you thinking?
I said I will record that song and put it on a 7-inch as a charity fundraiser for ILF. When, I don't know, because getting into a studio is a bit tricky, and I don't have the wherewithal to record it myself at home. Because my house is the house of howling winds. There's no quiet. So that'll be fun and easy to do.
I am very happy you said that out loud, because I've been holding that in now for months, dying to get that rolling somewhere, you know? No, I'm happy you said it.
If we somehow rip that original audio, let me know. I'd love that.
I have it.
I have the audio, but
I have the audio too.
From the video.
Excellent.
I have the audio and the video.
We'll get some high fidelity.
Posters. No, just kidding.
Okay, Chris.
All right. So the other thing we want to do is we got some questions starting to line up over here, and so I wanted to acknowledge some of those real fast if we can.
Yeah.
One of them was from Flapper Girl 167 to Neil. What is your wisdom for new guitarists?
Excellent question. I guess one, you're always a new guitarist would be like it's kind of a non-answer. I feel like I'm a new guitarist. I find it really, and it depends on what you're into music wise. I mean, and this is just my one opinion. I sometimes find very simple, calm playing. It's more about the delivery than about like blazing, arpeggios. Like, and in heavy metal, sometimes it's just about like the more notes you can play, the better. And if you like that, great. But I think John Lee Hooker's a better guitar player, and it's all about the delivery. I would look to the classics. Learning covers is the best education. And also, just for fun, and when you feel frustrated, throw your guitar into an open tuning and just move your fingers around. Everything's butter at that point. You don't have to worry about chords as much. You can grab a slide if you like that kind of thing. If not, you can still make cool music. Just Google open chords or get a chord chart, and that's the easiest way to make a guitar sound proper, like this. But that's my advice. And don't rush yourself. Yeah, I started playing guitar when I was 19, and I only took my first lesson when I was about 25. And now I spend most of my free time sometimes just looking at YouTube videos. And I'm in a band. We have original material, but it doesn't stop me from trying to learn. It's an amazing song. It split my wig when I heard it. Is Peter Gabriel's Salisbury Hill. The opening line is a Travis pick in, it's either 3/4 and then 4/4, or you could call it 7/4. It's odd time. and it's one of the hardest things I've ever tried to play, and I'm still working on it. So it's good to check those things out.
That's cool.
That was a
I-
long
I-
answer, sorry.
No, that's a great
That's
answer.
why we're here, man. We want to hear what you have to say. And that actually segues right into another question that was asked. Wings of Wax 227 said, I'm curious how Neil and of course the band feel about covers. I've always wanted to hear Clutch do a cover of Train Train by Blackfoot.
Yeah, it's a great song. I think, well, some of the first songs that we played live were covers. Uh, we opened up with Wicked World by Black Sabbath. We did a Swan song. Um, we did Cross-Eyed Mary early on. We did Money by Pink Floyd. Cross-Eyed Mary by Jethro Tull. Um, I think sometimes there's a snobbery of bands that play original music and, oh, you're a cover band, like what, you can't come up with your own music, which is just kind of a arrogant thing to say, because if you write your own music, you're calling all the shots. But if you're trying to learn something someone else wrote, it's much more difficult, and it's a great exercise to get into someone else's head. Like when we covered Fortunate Son by Creedence, I've heard that song a million times. I was like, that's no problem. And, it's basically like, major chords, but it's difficult. That thing flies. You have to pay attention. And even the most simple songs can be very deceptive. So I encourage it for nothing else, to just the education value of it.
That's cool.
All right. Great answer.
Hey, there's a good one here. Oh, you have one?
Oh, yeah, go, Chris. You're up.
You mentioned driving a Prius, Neil. This is from Dana C570. I would like to know what classic car you would like to own.
Ooh. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with the 57 Bel Air. When I got older, I got more into muscle cars of kind of around the year I was born, which is 71, like a 70 Barracuda. Those are pretty tough. Those are the first two that come to mind. And then, it's a really cool car too, is the Volvo 1800. You don't see a lot of those in the US. They're small. They're not a big muscle car, but they're classic. And I think what was the name of that show? The Saint. I think he drove one of those.
Oh, yes.
Silver, and had the small kind of curve
Yes.
in the back. Those things are styling.
I expected you to say a Galaxy 500.
This is true. I mean, I wouldn't say no to that, but man, trying to park one of those things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was actually one of the first cars I learned to drive, a Galaxy 500 convertible. It was huge.
12-point turns.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And that's just parking in a normal spot. Okay, let's see. There are a few more questions here. Do you plan on having an Earth Rocker 4 after the pandemic?
Yes. That wouldn't be this year. To be honest, I wouldn't suspect it will be. But summer after next, sure. We love it. It's fun. It's a family affair. It's wide open. It's not, if you've been to one, what it's all about. Bring your sunscreen and, plenty of water.
Yeah. I love that. That is one of my favorite festivals to go to. Let's see. Oh, just people saying they love you and they're huge fans from New York. From North Carolina up to Norfolk, Virginia. That's Spacegrass saying that. A nice comment. Let's
All the
see.
love right back to you.
So you plan on still having? Okay. So this is 666 Devil Lived 999. Okay. I really wish you can hear this. I try to. Okay, it's a no-go on the refreshing anyway. Oh, wait. What is this? Is this a problem we're having?
Yeah, we're having some technical issues out there.
I'm reading everything
troubleshoot.
here as a question.
Yeah.
I thought it was to Neil, but it's not to Neil. I don't use computers much. You know how that goes. Let's see. Well, did you have more Shane questions up there?
No, I'm
There
buying
was
my
one
socks
more.
right now. I got distracted. So
Well-
I'm heading over there right now to buy my socks.
I'll cut in if you
You
guys.
had it well under control, so I'm doing my thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you guys
So,
hear me?
one of the other things that I really like that you do during the Doom Saloons is that your swag that you sell, the shirts and stuff, a portion of that goes to support the members of your crew that aren't making any money from the music because there's no live shows.
Yep.
That's a really cool idea that I haven't heard many other bands doing. And not that I'm making a comparison, but how did that come about? And has it benefited enough? Like, have you raised enough to help those guys and gals out that have sitting
Well-
tight while we're waiting for this to end?
It certainly has helped out. And I think I would hope when people hear that, that's even more of a reason to buy the shirt. And I think people like that. We've had the same crew for years. We're a very lucky band. We don't have a big turnover rate with crew. So their family and their brothers and Clutch fans recognize these people.
Yeah.
And like a lot of bands, our crew is from all corners of the United States. Sometimes we have crew from Europe. And we only see each other on these tours, and we all go our separate ways, but we usually know we're going to see in 6 to 8 weeks or whatever. And usually, not to make sweeping generalizations, but a lot of crew guys in rock bands, when they're not on tour, they're usually working in nightclubs or theaters, or they're stage hands. That's all shut down too. So
Right.
some guys, gals have been able to get something here and there. Thankfully, the Save Our Stages campaign was, able to pass as part of the bill, which is big, because there's going to be a lot of venues that they'll never open their doors again, sadly. And what's a big bummer is I know some of my fondest memories have been in nightclubs. And I'm not talking about being in the band. I'm trying to go see other bands.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember some shows from 1989 better than I can remember our shows last year. And those places are cultural epicenters for a lot of people. And it's what I hope doesn't happen is that when the dust settles, that a lot of the big corporate entities glom on and then kind of suck the soul out of all of it and just gentrify every single cool, unique mom and pop, which could happen. That's why we want to support the independent venues.
Yeah, I think that was really cool what you did. I'm glad it's helping them because, like you said, being a fan of Clutch for like almost half my life at least is, I know these guys. You see them, I see Al, and it's like, yo, Al, I know the people's names. Like, you just know them. They're not like some guy who just handles mics. Like, I know that guy. I follow him on Instagram.
And every crew person, they have a story behind them too. They got a family. Dave just had a baby boy, and it's great he's be able to have all this time at home watching the kid grow up. Because I missed a lot of that, but at the same time, kids need diapers and baby food.
That's awesome that you're doing that. I mean, let's see. I got a couple questions that came in as we were chatting. So let's see. This is from Flapper Girl 67. Who are your influences?
Ooh. I've said this a lot in interviews, so if it sounds redundant, it's only because I'm telling the truth. Speaking as a band, and I only know this kind of in hindsight, is that growing up in Washington, D.C., there was 3 unique things to this area. Sure, there was the classic rock and the metal that we all grew up with in a national level, but locally, there was 3 scenes. There was like DC punk rock, which were bands like Minor Threat and Void, Fugazi, Bad Brains. And we were very spoiled. We're a bit too young to have seen the golden age of DC punk, but we caught the tail end of it and very spoiled because I just thought, oh, these are local bands. This is what it's like in every city. But not the case. I got to see Fugazi more times than I can count. And they were a huge influence. You wouldn't think, but one of the reasons was because that band would roll up in the weirdest venue. It would be like a soup kitchen, a community center, a defunct church that no one goes to. And it's just fluorescent lights. There's no merch booth. There's maybe some water, warm water in cups, maybe popcorn. Uh, all ages,
The
$5.
water always tasted a little weird too.
Yeah, it was always in those wax cups, and it was
Yeah, it always tasted like, is this really water?
And
Yeah, they mix it with their finger or something. I don't know. I never liked the taste of the water. Yeah.
but the thing is, despite it was absent of all the big rock production that you would think would be there. Regardless, they brought down the house every single time. And it was only later on in life I said, wow, we were really lucky to see that. And there was two other scenes. One was which is commonly referred to as the Maryland Doom scene, which is more of a metal thing. That was bands like Pentagram and Obsessed, a few other bands like Wretched. They were slower, heavier, longer hair, more cigarettes, more muscle cars. And then there was the DC go-go scene, which was all pervasive. When you grew up here in the 80s, you just heard it. You had no choice, love it or hate it. And John Paul was every marching band, every football band, marching band in the DC metro area played go-go beats. They probably still do. Actually, I can hear it every once in a while. And he was in marching band. So he learned all these things, and those things are still present in the band today. But that's the three influences as a band that immediately come to mind.
That's cool. That's great. That's a great story too. That's a great story. Let's see. Another question. What was the moment that hooked you into wanting to be in a band?
It hasn't happened yet.
Well, you got 30 years. I guess I'm still trying.
Like I'm not sold.
So there's another one out here that's really good. Is there any musician alive or not that you wish you had seen or still want to see?
Oh man, that's always a tough question because there's so many bands that I have on such a high pedestal. I wonder if they could ever possibly live up to it. Led Zeppelin. I love Led Zeppelin, but I see a lot of videos of Led Zeppelin and I'm like, ooh, man, those guys are playing pretty loose that night. Same with Pink Floyd. I'm sure that would have been awesome. I would have loved to have seen them.
That I have seen. It was amazing.
Yeah, just because that's the opposite of Fugazi. This is like, oh, you want production?
Yeah,
we'll give you production.
Yeah, who flies a giant pig over the audience?
Yeah, the classic, Animals, Dark Side, all that's some of my favorite music. There's a lot, I remember I was going to go see Johnny Cash. He was doing a lot of touring at the end of his days. And I was like, I'll just come see him next time.
Yeah.
There was no next time. Yeah. And that was a hard lesson. And there's other ones like that. Same with Nirvana. I was going to go see them open for a band called Loop. They were the opening act at the old 930 clubs, a 450 capacity room. Like, you know what? It's Tuesday night. I'll go see him next time. Next time it was RFK Stadium, sold out in 2 minutes. And then after that, there was no next time. So I try to make it a point, even when I'm feeling like I don't want to go do it, because I'm spoiled. I see so many bands on tour, festivals. That's the others. I have seen some amazing bands that I never would have otherwise had I not been in this band. And just to go back to that previous question, I was being cheeky. I think it took me a long time to realize I wanted to do this because it got beaten to my head that this was not a viable option. You get told that, oh, band, no, get a job you don't like because that's the way. And I won't say I bought into that, but it was really hard to get past that, to realize, okay, maybe I could. It was only until I think 2000, 2001, after Pure Rock Fury, I was like, because then we started getting older and there's, there's wives and there's children involved. You ask yourself, do I want to do this with a family? And we had been dropped from a major label for the last time. And it was sort of dark night of the soul, saying, okay, are we getting back in the van? And we said, well, okay, let's get back in the van. We had been in tour buses all the 90s. So we basically restarted. We turned off the computer and turned it back on. And then we started our own record label, and that was the big game changer. And it wasn't so much the financial aspect of that. It was suddenly we didn't have to answer to anybody. We were dealing directly with fans. And then I look back and I was like, wow, we've been doing this for almost 20 years. This is awesome. I'm making a living doing this. And with every passing day, I'm more and more grateful for it. I love it.
That's cool.
Hey guys, we should take a moment and acknowledge that we just passed over the $2,000 mark for tonight. And we had an anonymous donation of $515 a while ago. So thank you, everybody. This
Thank
is
you.
just amazing.
That is. So how did the We Need Money song come into play at the beginning of all your shows?
We had done other intros. We did A Long Way to the Top, If You Want to Rock and Roll, for a long time. But so do a lot of other bands. It's not the most original. There's some other ones, and we would bicker over it. And sometimes we let the crew guy pick it for one night. And then John Paul, that's Chuck Brown. He invented go-go that I was just talking about. And that particular take is really hard to find. That's a bootleg of a live performance. So when you go on Spotify or whatever, you don't hear they're good, but they're not that good. And we played it one night. It was maybe once or twice. And immediately the crowd hooked onto the Hell Yeah chorus. And I can guarantee you, we're playing in, I don't know, Hamburg, Germany. They don't know Chuck Brown, but they're singing along. And they've only heard the song once. They're singing it by the fourth or fifth time Hell Yeah comes around. And then we kind of said, let's do it again. And then every city, doesn't matter where it was, people were just instantly reacting to it. And then we started doing it for so long that we couldn't change our minds. We crossed the Rubicon of, go
Yeah.
intros.
I mean, well, it's part of Clutch now.
You know
what's about to happen.
I have a Pavlovian condition to it. Now, when I hear the song, I get my heart rate starts going up. I start getting nervous. I'll hear it every once in a while on shuffle. I'm like, oh, I need to get ready, which is a good thing.
When I hear it, if I don't hear a Clutch song right after, I get depressed. Right? So, I mean, it's terrible, right? Okay, someone says, let's not forget our redemption question. Would you ever consider teaching guitar lessons online?
Ooh, I would consider it. I don't consider myself a very good guitar player, though.
Dude.
I think a lot of people here would completely disagree with that comment.
I love your
Respectfully,
humility.
sir.
I truly love it. It's one of the things that I truly just appreciate about you, but that's ridiculous.
You can test it out on me. I've been playing for about 10 years, but I'll take lessons just as a test.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, great.
Come on. I honestly, I have a real hard time looking at the fretboard. If someone says, okay, play the C sharp, I'm not the guy who goes dink. I have to look at it and go, okay. But once I know a song, then it's easy. I could certainly teach Clutch songs, the ones I play guitar on. There's plenty of Clutch songs I have no idea.
Well, you heard it here. We'll have to talk about that. Okay, this one is from Shogun named Marcus. Clutch has referred to Star Wars in songs before. ILF are sort of like bounty hunters. Who is your favorite Star Wars bounty hunter? I mean, is that even a question?
Yeah, I mean, that's a gimme.
It has to be Boba Fett.
Yeah, I remember in the 80s after school, we would go to this terrible Mexican restaurant called Chi-Chi's. Do you remember that?
I sadly do remember that.
Yeah. And for some reason, I started, when they would take your name, I would tell them Boba Fett. See here it say Boba Fett table for blank. Because it was high school. These are the things that mattered.
That's great.
But I always thought he was. You know what it was? It's and what I love about the Mandalorian, and I've not had the greatest relationship with Star Wars over the past few years.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I saw the New Hope when I was 5, so I mean,
Yeah. I understand.
it's hard to get back up to that level. But what
Yeah,
I
it
loved
really
about
is.
Boba Fett was the silent, mysterious, no dialogue. He's the that was already like the Western character. You know,
Yeah.
he was already doing the Clint Eastwood thing back then, and so for them to kind of amplify that and make every episode basically a reinvented Western trope, I thought was awesome. It was
Yeah.
simple. I wasn't confused by convoluted storylines or
Right.
CGIs. It was, oh, I know this. This is an episode of Wagon Train.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Mandalorian at least returned back to what we used to love about Star Wars before they ruined it with whatever the new crap was. So
I
at
thought,
least
you know what? Uh, the test for me is my son, when he was young, we just decorated his room with Star Wars, just assuming that's what he's going to be into. He finally kind of confessed to us. He's like, Dad, I don't like Star Wars. And I'm real confused. I was like, you wait.
Did you put him up for adoption? No.
Um, but I sat him down and he had only seen like what are the ones, the Sith,
Oh,
Phantom Menace
the
and all.
newer ones.
Yeah. And I played for him New Hope and he was like, oh, I get that. And
Yeah.
what it was is that even it was just too much,
Yeah.
it was overwritten, too much to look at too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Let's see. How cool is it for you that you've played music with your friends for 30 years?
It is probably one of the coolest things. I mean, if not the coolest thing one could ask for. I mean, making a living doing the creative arts is rare enough, but to do it with your friends, uh, I know a lot of bands who started out for whatever reason and that ended either by fate of no fault of their own or fault of their own, and it's almost impossible to get back there once that's gone. So we treat this very defensively. We're kind of like anything that interferes with making the music and doing the show is not allowed. Um, everybody has issues and challenges. We're no different, but uh, we kind of circle the wagons at this point. We don't want to ruin a good thing but it's fun. I mean, you get to travel the world and get get an education that you couldn't possibly get in school.
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful thing.
I, of course, don't know all the inner workings, but what I love about interacting with you guys is that no one person ever makes a decision for the whole band. You guys respect each other so much that if there is a decision that's going to affect all of you, it's always taken back to the whole band to make that decision. That's a wonderful thing, I think, after 30 years.
It is a wonderful thing. It's a hard thing because we're a democracy. Things are slow, like most democracies. A dictatorship, you get stuff done quick. But democracies, especially when it's an even number, it'd be easier if there was 5 of us. You get that deciding vote.
Yes.
And usually what we just say is let's sleep on it. And the answers usually present themselves. And it's difficult. It wasn't difficult. It was a learning experience for us when we launched the record label because we had never done that before. So we didn't know right from wrong and made mistakes, acknowledged, and moved on. That's the best you can do.
That's great.
Hey,
What is your favorite? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've got a comment and a question from Dana C570. And the comment is, this is interesting, so I'm glad she's with us. I've never heard of Twitch and don't have any social media except YouTube. I downloaded this app the minute I got the text, so they're here for this.
Oh.
And so we sent out, we tried text messaging today to alert people to this who were in the fans list for Clutch. And so one of her questions is, I would love to know Neil's favorite Jimi Hendrix song.
I was actually driving to practice the other day, Monday, and on Sirius XM, it's either their classic albums or their deep cuts. They've switched it to all Jimi Hendrix all the time. I think it's in partnership with Black History Month. And it's about a 40-hour drive for me to get there. And it was great because it forced me to just sit there and listen to it. A lot of songs that I've heard so many times, I've grown a bit deaf to them. Castles Made of Sand, man, that is a beautiful song. The lyrics, it matches the mood of the guitar. That's probably one of my favorites that I heard on that trip. Of course, Voodoo Child. I got a lot. There's a funny, I don't know if it's on Axis Bowl to Love, but there's a recording of that performance, and there's like a BBC radio host introducing Jimi Hendrix Experience. He goes something like, "And now Jimi Hendrix with Voodoo Chili." I swear I heard it somewhere. I think it's on Axis Bowl to Love.
Terrible.
Yeah, but that's the way it was spelled, so you can't blame the guy.
Right.
It's just phonetically. But actually, you know what? My favorite Jimi Hendrix song was Band of Gypsies, Machine Gun. That song is incredible. The Fillmore performance, and most guitar players know exactly what I'm talking about when I say the note, because I guess it's like 9 minutes in or something like that. He just hits this one note and it just soars, and that's all it is. Going back to, he can play as fast as he wants, but he just delivers this one note, and every time I hear it to this day, I get goosebumps. So that's the one.
That's cool. Nickology asks, do you have any tips for starting musicians to jump off the edge and make music their career? Transitioning from a normal day job to a passion project.
I would say pretend that the internet doesn't exist. Do live music, because that's the crucible. It's terrifying. I won't lie. I get nervous all the time. But that's a good thing. I think the playing music for people is one of the oldest human behaviors we have. Even just banging on a log or playing guitar or whatever. And when you get that taste of it, when you realize you've entertained somebody and they say that was awesome, you want to do it again. You want to do it again. It's better than all the thumbs up on YouTube combined. And that's great. That's a great tool, but it's so easy to get lost in that mix by saying, oh, I need to get, presence on social media, or I need to do this on here. Even if it's just going on a street corner and playing guitar, if that's what you're playing, that's one thing. The music that you write will get you through everything. That's the one thing that never got taken away from us. We got dropped from countless labels in the 90s. We went right back into the van and keep playing the music because they couldn't stop us. And I think that would be the same for you. It's a terrifying prospect, especially if you're doing it by yourself. I've always had 3 other dudes to lean on. The other question is, if you perform with other people, surround yourself with good people. I don't care how great of a drummer he or she is, for singer that person may be. If they're bad people, you want no part of them. That if you want to make a career out of it.
Yeah, I think that's just good life advice, Neil. Like, I think no matter what career you choose, if you surround yourself with great quality people, then amazing things could happen, even though it will still be a lot of work and you may have to pick yourself up constantly and continue on. But you have those good people there to help you do that, pick you up and carry you on.
There's a synergy to it.
Yeah.
Because we all can't be awesome all the time.
Right.
So like maybe you're having like one of those not so awesome weeks or years, You know,
You hear that, Shane? You hear that, Shane?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I do.
Sometimes I'm having a not so great decade.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Shane
He
picks up.
said year. He gave you year, brother.
I heard decade. Whatever.
Okay.
From Neil Fallon's mouth. Okay, let's see. I think we're coming near the end here. Let's get let's see. People want to meet you. How do you like meeting fans outside of shows?
I love it. I'll say, you know, sometimes, well, with conditions, you know,
Not at your house scratching on windows?
I mean, don't come to my house.
Yeah.
Um, don't come up to me when I'm with my family, unless you're just saying hi, maybe just because everyone's defensive like that. But, you know, if I'm outside a venue or down the block from where we're playing that night, it makes total sense that I would run into somebody.
Yeah.
And, you know, I make a strong, you know, I differentiate between on stage and off stage. Usually when people meet me off stage, the first things out of their mouth is, I can't believe how short you are. You know,
That's a horrible greeting.
all the time. You're on stage, and not only are you literally 8 or 10 feet higher, but you're also larger than life because you're so loud. One of the things we've wrestled with for years is, you know, meeting people with VIP stuff. I get it why bands do it, but we feel just weird charging people to say hi. It's because and it always is like, oh, hi, pleased to meet you. Sign this. Bye. Oh, hi, pleased to meet you. Sign. It feels odd. And there's been times that we've done that because we were contractually obligated. And I'm not saying I think less of those people, but sometimes it's just nice to kick it and talk to somebody and meet your fans, because they're what allows you to come to that town to begin with.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool answer. Somebody asked, what is Clutch's relationship with New Jersey, aka the Pulaski Skyway?
Good question. That Pulaski Skyway, I kind of fixated on that bridge. Now, for people who don't know the Pulaski Skyway, and for our friend in New Jersey, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a while since I've been on it. I believe it's Route 9 or it's either Route 3. It goes from Jersey into Jersey City and over the Hudson. And at one point, it was the longest steel span bridge on planet Earth.
Oh.
It was considered an engineering marvel. Right now, it's just kind of like a long series of potholes, and the bridge is like this giant beast, and you overlook, there's swamps, and there's all the cargo containers from the ships, and this vast industrial complex with ships and cars and cranes. And then you go over Jersey City, and then boom, there's Manhattan, the whole skyline. It was just, and I would do that drive every day when we were mixing. What were we doing? It wasn't Blast Tyrant. I was staying in Secaucus and driving in to Hoboken to work. It might have been Blast Tyrant. Years later, we had a song. For some reason, that bridge came to mind because it was so impressive. And some of our earliest and, you know, most memorable shows have been in Jersey, and like Sayreville, there's Studio One in Newark. Those were some. We cut our teeth in New Jersey in a lot of ways.
That's cool. That's a cool story about it. Let's see. There says, will there be a Friend of Science T-shirt by any chance? Well,
You can answer that. One would hope.
Yeah, I think there will be once we get the 7-inch. Once we figure that out, I think we have some cool ideas on how to package it and make it unique. And there'll be a T-shirt, and I think that's going to be a pretty neat thing.
Why don't we just ask everybody out here to give us their thoughts? Because we're kicking around a bunch of different ideas, but one of the ideas we were thinking about was having a box delivered in a pizza box. It's a record that comes through, and I think we're talking about having it look like a pineapple pizza, possibly, and then we're thinking about either you being able to have a shirt added into it, or possibly upgrading to a hoodie. So, what do you guys think? Do you like that idea? And then, of course, will be donated to charity. So, just let us know what you think out there, and we'll see. We're trying to come up with something that would be different and fun.
Can I just throw an idea, just brainstorming
Sure.
for you? If you're going to have like a bundle box like that, you can get some stickers, those ones like the ones with the image on it.
Hmm.
But they have to be scratch and sniff, and it smells like.
That is a horrible idea. No one wants to smell that.
Oh, yes.
You're-
All right.
Out of the box, your whole hoodie smells like a bad Domino's Hawaiian pizza.
Neil, would you like to join our education and outreach team?
We would love for you to, sir.
I'm not kidding, Mandy. Our best ideas for ILF in the last 4 years have come from Neil.
No, please.
It's true. That auction
Rock and
was
roll
awesome.
auction?
Yeah, dude, that was like one of our biggest events.
You know, I need to get back on the next one since no one's going anywhere. Maybe they want.
Well, we'll talk about that. I'm just sad that I lost that guitar. But anyhow,
Oh, thanks for scrolling all the merch there.
let's see. This is not a question. This is just a comment saying that my husband and his mother danced to the Little Wing Jimi Hendrix song at our wedding 6 years ago. Thanks for sharing your story.
Beautiful song.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Connecting with Jimi Hendrix. A lot of people just saying some really great things, Neil, how much you've motivated them, helped them, your music. Clutch is always a big part of people's lives when you've been a fan.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. You know, I'm speaking generally to everyone who says that. You know, it's making records and selling tickets is great. Don't get me wrong, but it's so much. It's also equally, if not more, gratifying to hear someone say, "Oh, your music means so much to me." Like either me and my brother and I, or my wife and I, or my son, or it got me through this hard time, or this was my theme music when I was overseas, stationed in a terrible place. Uh, that's priceless. That's amazing to hear. Always, never gets old.
Clutch was my first show with my son.
Wow.
That was my son's first live show was Clutch. And then I think every since he was born, since he came to shows, every Clutch show after that he was with me. Yeah. So it becomes a bonding experience. It's pretty cool. Let me see. What is it? My husband just wrote interview a few guitarists. Someone wants to know if you're willing to be interviewed for a book about guitarists.
Sure.
Okay, Flapper Girl, you can reach out to us at ILF. We'll probably have some questions for you, and then we'll get you set up. Just reach out to us on the ILF website. Mention that question was asked, so when it comes into the contacts page, that we know it's you, and we'll have to have some verification that it's you, because I'm sure everyone listening to this is going to be sending us emails that they're Flapper Girl 67. So we're going to have to talk with you first before we just hand you over to Neil.
There will definitely be some security checks run.
Yes,
Trust
yes,
us.
we do that. Again, these are just some nice comments. It says your music is not just incredible. You guys seem to be incredible people. That's a beautiful comment. And then I was pregnant with my son when we went to see Loretta Lynn. That's an interesting comment. Yeah. I was talking to Ryan. Ryan. He was saying that there used to be a bedtime ritual for his son, Robbie, and now every night before bed, he requests a Clutch playlist. And that is what he goes to sleep to, is a Clutch playlist.
I have to go to sleep to ocean
Awesome.
sounds.
No, man, that's great. You put on like your on the acoustic stuff that you have on Blast Tyrant, the special edition. Woo, that's great stuff, man. That's relaxing. That's like,
Okay, I can see that. I just I don't want him to get like a condition where he comes to see us live for the first time and he just immediately passes out.
he falls asleep. Ryan, if you're still listening, consider that. I didn't think about that option. That's a pretty bad option. He's at a show and just falls down and goes to sleep on the floor in the pit. That's that's great. Oh man. So Neil, you've been here for a while with us. I can't thank you enough. Are there any last minute stories or anything you want to share? Anything you want to say before we let you have your night back?
But no, I just thank it for everybody for showing up, asking questions, saying nice things, donating to the ILF. This is flattering that I was asked to do it. Hopefully, we can do it again. It's important to stay connected in a time where it's weird how we have so many ways to get connected, but at the same time, it's the disconnection all the time. So let's exercise patience. Believe me, the bands want to get out there just as much as the listeners. I want to go see me. I want to be in a crowd listening to a band right now.
Amen.
That would be good. That would be good for the soul and heart, but patience, and we'll get through it.
I do have one last question. Oh, go ahead.
Record is not going to be about quarantine.
Good. Okay. That's good to hear.
Isolation. We want to write a good time record.
So you're not going to do some death metal songs?
No, there's not going to be. I'm sure there will be that, but I want to close this chapter ace.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, everyone, there's a bunch of people just saying thank you for hanging out, thank you for asking questions, and what do you? One last question I had in my head: after this all ends, what do you think that first show is going to be like? That first live show, whatever venue you pick, that first one. I know I'm going to be there, but what do you think it's going to be like?
It's going to be an exercise in self-control for everybody.
Yeah, man.
We're not going to want to. It's going to be hard not to play a million miles an hour. It's going to be hard not to blow my voice out into the song. It's going to be hard for the crowd not to get well intoxicated before doors. I think it'll be very therapeutic. I think it's going to be a lot of those for quite some time, and we'll just have to pace ourselves.
Yeah.
Take each other. Appreciate each other, and not take it for granted.
I'm with you. Neil, I can't thank you enough. This was awesome, and thank you for sharing so many personal anecdotes and stories and being such a great guest. Appreciate it.
Likewise. Thanks for having me. Scratch and sniff.
Scratch and sniff. We're done, Si.
I have so many things muted. My co-host.
Are we still streaming? Are they still hearing us?
They're still hearing. Hello, stream again. If you guys are all done, then we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys for hanging out.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a great night.
Awesome, and thank you for these donations. $2,080. That's amazing.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, and thank you, Neil, again for coming on our stream.
Of course,
we always love chatting with you. We're gonna end the stream here, guys. So have a good night, and thank you 500% more for anybody who donated, and thank you to everybody who followed and anyone who subscribed, and double thank you for everyone just being here. This was a great stream. We had a lot of people. Have a great night, guys.
Bye-bye.